We are live at Stuhr Museum. We are in front of the Lesher House, which is a house that many people will recognize as a big part of railroad town. And we're here with Cynova, our Director of Historic Resources, and here we are going to go somewhere where not a lot of people have been recently. Kay, you were telling me maybe not even staff have been up to this spot.
There are very few members of the staff who've actually been upstairs in this house, because a lot of people don't even realize that there's an upstairs unless you go to the back of the house and you see the windows.
Huh.
So
I might walk over that way and just kind of show the back window where you can kind of see the second floor where we'll be in just a few minutes. But tell us a little bit about this house as we head over there.
Well, the house was built in 1883 by Frank Talmadge. He was going to be married soon, and they lived in the property for a number of years until 1889, when he sold it to Mrs. Dorinda Chapman for $5,500.
$5,500.
Now, Frank was a contractor, and his family shortly after that relocated to the Washington Territory, where he became a contractor out there. The house remained with Mrs. Chapman until she deceased, and then her estate is the one that sold it to J.B. Lesher in 1905.
Okay. And J.B. Lesher, of course, was the one who ended up giving it to the museum.
No, J.B. didn't give it to the museum. J.B. actually lived in the house until 1923, when he remarried. His first wife had passed away. The house was, the ownership of the house was divided up between J.B. and his children. And the children eventually transferred all of the property titles into just one of their.
All right.
To Gertrude. Gertrude never married, so she's the one who ended up with that property.
All right.
J.B. was well known in Grand Island. He had large bits of property. He had some out by the Taylor Ranch area. He also was a trustee for the Grand Island Baptist College.
Okay. All right, so the very recognizable Lesher House, if you've been here for many of our special events, this is one of the houses that's always open in Railroad Town, it seems.
Yeah, this is a very nice, comfortable house too. One of the features that we always like to point out to people is the cupola that's above the front entryway. It's part of a kind of a primitive cooling system with the transoms above the doors and the windows, and the scuttle that opens up into the cupola. It helps to draw the heat out of the house during the summer, and this house literally is the coolest house in town all summer long.
I'm just going to stop and pause at the fantastic wallpaper for just a moment. All right, and you can explore this when Stuhr Museum opens back up, and we encourage you to. However, where we're going to go now...
Well, I want to point out the little door over here. A lot of people are fascinated and ask about this. Well, where this chair sits is actually where J.B. had his desk, because the back part is part of an addition that the Leshers did. Mm-hmm. But this actually was his mailbox, and there was a part on that back porch where they could drop the mail in. His desk was right here. He could sit here, reach in and grab and do his correspondence from this point right here.
Very clever.
And this is that low portion that I believe was part of a back porch at one point in time. This is a low section of the ceiling.
Yeah, you can
in
see
what
the
is
divide
kind
there.
of a grand parlor.
Okay.
Now, if we go to the back porch, very quickly, this house had a carbide gas system for the lighting, and the fixtures that you see in the house are carbide gas. But we have an example of a carbide gas generator on the back porch of the house. It is a massive thing, and the key thing to remember is this is not where that generator would be. There would usually be a pit some feet away from the house, because they were very volatile and they could blow up.
Yeah.
And so we actually found a reproduction of warnings and how to operate, and we have that here for people to view. But this would be in a pit a little bit further away from the house than the back door.
Just in case the worst were to happen.
Just in case. Now another very, very cool feature in this house, and this opens on both sides. It opens into the kitchen, and it also opens into the dining room. Is we have a dumbwaiter system in here.
Between the first and second floor.
No, this actually goes to the cellar. This would go to the cellar, and the cellar would be the coolest place in the house. And that is a place that you'd want to store things that would be perishable, things like butter and milk and things that you want to keep cool. You would send down to the cellar into a storage area down there. But that way you didn't have to haul it up the stairs all the time.
Very interesting. And I imagine that got a more use in the summer than the winter, probably.
Probably. Another really nice feature about this house, this is part of the addition that the Leshers did to the house, the system. This is unusual for turn of the century to see a lot of built-in cabinetry, but this section here is a pass-through. So this actually goes through to the dining room. This would be normally cleared off. And if you're having a small dinner party, you could put the food in there and the servant on the other side could get the things without having to pass through the door between the kitchen and the dining room.
Interesting.
For a small little house like this, it was a really unique feature.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go upstairs see the part that not many have seen?
I'm not even sure how to get there, to be honest with you.
Well, a lot of people notice this door and ask us about this door all the time.
Okay, and we're right off the living room.
We're right off the parlor,
parlor.
And the dining room. And so you have the cabinetry in here, and this all kinds of blends in all the way. But if you open this door, and it kind of sticks a little bit, because we don't open this very often.
Yeah.
This is the stairs to the
this is behind the scenes.
And this is one of the reasons we do not have this open is the steepness of these stairs.
Yeah, they're very steep. Yep, and here are the windows that you can see from the first floor.
Now we speculate that this is part of the addition that the Leshers made at some point in time after they purchased the house. We understand that this was most likely Carl's bedroom, the room that you're standing in, and that would be, of course, his closet space and all that. But then this part over here would be storage.
Yeah, the ceilings are pretty low. I can't see much by way of bedroom here, but...
The nice part about this is if you look over here, you could see what is part of the original back of the roof of the house. You could see the rafters going across here. They've been cut off because the roof line was altered when the Leshers did some addition, but there's still portions and shingles from the original roof. Now it's a little bit disconcerting that it's open all the way to the front here, because I don't think that this would be a very comfortable space in the wintertime. We do not know. It looks like that there was cardboard put up to kind of block off wind. We don't know if there was other types of board that was in place to kind of close it off. But you could also see over on the other side of the chimney, there is another piece of roofing there.
Yes.
This house, I think, was remodeled on several occasions. We just can't document them very well.
Right. So this would have been storage.
Yes.
This would have been a bedroom, and this probably would not have been used by the people who lived in the house.
No, I think they blocked it off in some way to kind of help deflect the airflow. And there was probably more walls up here. But the other thing is right where we have this insulation is where the other chimney used to go up.
Oh.
And that would be the chimney that fed for the kitchen and the dining room area.
And you can see a little flourishes like a baseboard there of what, what it used to be.
And there would have been plaster on all of those walls and the ceiling in there. But during the move of the house, and subsequently the house got moved twice because the museum, the property was sold to Edgar Reynolds of the Reynolds Research Center fame for $1 in 1962, and then this particular house was picked up and moved to the original museum location, which is over by the current Swift plant. While it was there, the house was one of the structures for the museum that was broken into and vandalized.
Oh.
Once they determined that they were going to have to relocate the location of the museum, this house was picked up again and brought out to this location.
So the last question I had on there's a good reason this is probably closed to everybody. You would mention the steepness of the stairs and everything, but I imagine there aren't plans to interpret this part of the house.
No, there are no plans to interpret this part of the house. I think we get a lot of questions about it.
Right.
I think I will probably do a photo survey, and in our site book for this house, I will probably make those photos available in that book, but we will not open this site. For
Obvious reasons, yeah.
The most obvious is the steepness of the stairs.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
This is not something that a lot of people would be comfortable going up and down.
Or while holding a camera.
No, not at all.
Wonderful. All right, well, we thank you for taking this truly behind-the-scenes tour to a place I had certainly never been, and hope it gives you a better appreciation of this house the next time you visit, and we hope that soon. So until next week, please stay safe and well.